falls under this category of obesity and overweight, and how do you define obesity?
So, firstly, overweight, basically, when we are trying to categorize people under normal weight or obesity or overweight, we first have to check their BMI. Someone who is 30 and below 35, they're in the grade 1 of obesity.
What is the correct lifestyle to avoid, or what is the lifestyle they should follow to correct the obesity? Because that's the step one.
Yes. So, step 1, like you said, is correcting lifestyle. So, today's life has become very, very inactive in physical terms. So they're not at all active. It's more like a desk job where they're just sitting and working. So there's no active lifestyle at all.
Hi everyone. So there is lot of buzz nowadays regarding overweight and about obesity. And there is also a lot of talk about newer medication or something like injections or other modality of treatments coming to India to treat obesity and all. So today we have Dr. Deepthi, a plastic surgeon, and Lakshmi, a nutritionist, our eternal team here to discuss about obesity. So Lakshmi, so can you tell us who falls under this category of obesity and overweight, and how do you define obesity?
So firstly, overweight, basically when we are trying to categorize people under normal weight or obesity or overweight, we first have to check their BMI. So we first calculate their height, their weight, and then we calculate their BMI, that is your body mass index, which means how much is your body mass or weight according to your height. So once we get that value, we will categorize that value in terms of normal weight. And if that number that we get with the calculation of the BMI, if it is touching 25, then we categorize it as overweight. And if that number touches 30, we call it as obesity. Also, again, in obesity, we have different categories like grade 1 of obesity, grade 2, and then morbid obesity. Someone who is 30 and below 35, they're in the grade 1 of obesity. Somebody who's touched 35 and below 40, it is grade 2. Somebody who's touched 40, it is grade 3, or we call it morbid obesity. Yeah.
So when we talk about overweight or obesity, so a lot of people think about maybe my lifestyle is not good enough, or maybe what should I do to control the obesity. So there is lot of play about talk about lifestyle. So what do you tell? What is the correct lifestyle to avoid, or what is the lifestyle they should follow to correct the obesity? Because that's the step one.
Yes. So step 1, like you said, is correcting lifestyle. So today's life has become very, very inactive in physical terms. So they're not at all active. It's more like a desk job where they're just sitting and working. So there's no active lifestyle at all. So some people don't even walk 1,000 steps in a day overall. Generally, I'm not talking about exercise part. That's again different. So you should first keep your lifestyle very active, wherein at least you're covering 12,000 to 15,000 steps on the overall day, but that does not count as exercise. Apart from this, you have to exercise every day at least for 1 hour, and that exercise can be as simple as a brisk walk, or it has to be any kind of workouts in the gym, or a pilates or yoga, power yoga, which is a little more working on strength conditioning and all, or any strength conditioning exercises like that. So this kind of activity level has to be there. First, that should be the first thing they should correct in their lifestyle. Second is obviously nutrition, where they're following a balanced meal. They're having the right type of foods at the right time and the right quantity. And they don't starve themselves or their body from not eating also. So maintaining a balance in food habits and an active lifestyle is what is going to correct them from not being obese or overweight.
So I remember you having a BMI calculator machine which gave out a
Yes.
weight in terms of muscle mass and fat mass and all, no? So will that also again categorize people into, or will that change the obesity categorization in terms of which is more, which is less, and everything? How does that make a difference in terms of deciding the obesity levels?
Right. So basically, today we have different scales where you can check your BMI other than just weight. Also, you can check your fat and muscle in the body. So when I say fat, it's your visceral fat and your subcutaneous fat as well as your skeletal muscle. So that gives an even more in-depth body composition, which means that you're understanding how is your fat and muscle ratio in the body. So a lot of times people just check their weight, their BMI, and they feel that okay, I have to just get my BMI below 25 and I'm fine. But how are you getting that BMI low? Are you reducing your fat in the body and getting it down, or are you reducing your muscle and getting it down? Is what is important. So an in-depth analysis of this that we do here is very important to understand how your body is changing internally. It's not just about externally how your body is going thin. It's about how your muscle ratio is changing, how your fat ratio is changing in the body. That is very important. That's when it's a healthy weight loss also.
So, what is the most ideal way to reduce fat more than muscle mass? What is the most ideal plan for a person?
Okay, so it actually varies from person to person. So when we're only targeting on improving your muscle or just reducing your fat percentage or your visceral fat or subcutaneous fat in the body, so this fat should concentrate on how you're balancing your nutrients. So how much of carbs you're taking, how much of protein you're taking, how much of fiber you're taking. So a lot of them miss this concept of fiber and they only concentrate on protein. So fiber also helps in reducing the fat in the body. So that is also something they should concentrate on. So don't focus just on completely going low carb. That also shouldn't be there. So have a balanced meal, concentrate on having good amount of protein and good amount of fiber also.
So I think when some people are trying to lose weight, so the first thing what they do is control their food or do something like dieting. And when they talk about controlling their portions, there are a lot of things like intermittent fasting or following a keto diet or low carb diet or some other diet for that matter. There are like numerous diets in the market right now.
Yes.
So because I mean losing weight in healthy manner so that they don't regain the weight later on once they stop their diet, that's very important.
Yes.
So what do you say about this?
So firstly, I would say don't fall for these fad diets and these fancy fashionable diets that they come. So it's like trend of any kind of a jewelry or a fashion cloth that comes in. People even try that with nutrition or diets also. So firstly, the meaning of diet has been changed because of the concept has changed because of the social media. So first you need to understand diet means having a balanced diet, having a nutritious meal. So nutritious meal means you're covering all the nutrients. You're also having carbs, you're also having protein, you're also having fats, which are healthy fats, not the unhealthy fats. And your carbs will be complex carbs, not the simple sugars or anything like that, not the simple carbs. So that is what is actual meaning of a diet, a nutritious meal where you're not being nutritionally deficient, which means you're not going extremely low on your vitamins or minerals in the body, or where you're depriving your brain with carbs, because carbs is something that your brain requires a lot to function. So this is something everybody has to understand. So don't go for these fancy diets and concentrate on your cultural food habits, because genetically our body is used to having cultural food habits, like let that be roti sabzi or let that be an idli dosa or something like that. Your body is used to it. So don't deprive it of suddenly of those and jump to a keto diet where you just have to load yourself with cheese and meat and all of that. And technically speaking, Indians cannot follow a keto diet because it requires a lot of different meats that you should consume and fancy cheeses which are not available easily here. So that is something everybody has to understand. So
And I did see many people ending up in GI disturbances after following keto diet for some months. Actually, it's pretty common that I've seen.
yes, actually it happens a lot. And then they follow this because they want a very quick outcome. So when you're trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle or trying to lose weight, especially, lose it in a very sustainable way. It's going to be slow. That is something they should accept first. Take it slow but take it in a healthy way.
It's actually very important that maintaining consistency
Yes.
in whatever we are doing for full proof results.
Yes.
This comes into play with most of my clients also. Like I have a lot of PCOS clients. So when some PCOS clients come, they classically come and tell me, okay, once we check a weight, they might be little overweight or on obese side. But then they come and tell me that I have done lot of diets, I have done this, I have done that, I have done exercising, but I'm not able to lose my weight. So that's when I feel the hormones come into play. In PCOS, there is so much imbalance of hormones because estrogen and progesterone, all of us know they are the female hormones. So they are not in equal proportion. Then that's when PCOS kicks in. Once PCOS kicks in, then okay, it becomes like a vicious cycle. No matter, let it be PCOS, let it be some thyroid problem, let it be high stress or high cortisol related problem. Any problem, I think once the hormones are disturbed, they go into that vicious cycles of disturbed hormone, causing disturbance in their life, causing them not to lose weight and put on more weight though they eat less, and finally leading again to weight gain, again their hormones becoming haywire. So it becomes a vicious cycle.
Yes.
So that's when I think even a physician, endocrinologist or a gynecologist should come into play to control that part of obesity
Yes.
or overweight, where we regularize their hormones, we put them under track, maybe after doing some investigations,
Yes.
putting medication, and then overall again diet come into play.
Yes.
Consistency is one more thing.
Yes.
And I think finally, after we deal with all these options, and maybe there is somewhere we get stuck, I think that's where Dr. Deepthi comes into action.
Yes.
So let's hear to plastic surgeons options for obesity and overweight.
Yeah, people come to us first of all thinking plastic surgeons are the solution for obesity. I always tell all my clients that we are not the solution for obesity. We are post-obesity doctors actually. Obesity is to be controlled in a certain way, as you told, a balanced diet and a planned exercise and everything. And once they lose weight sustainably is when they should see us for contouring options, ideally at that time. But we have, as plastic surgeons, seen a significant difference in the body and fat globules of people who have lost weight suddenly and rapidly, and who have lost weight in a very healthy way over a long period of time. The fat is very, very fibrous and very adamant in people who lose weight very fast. The quality of the tissues is also very atrophic from inside. That's where we see, right? And the healing capacity of that person comes down drastically. The skin's collagen composition is so bad for them that you can say that in the skin they have aged at least 10 years faster when you lose weight so fast. On the other hand, where people have been on balanced diets and healthier weight loss patterns, the quality of fat globule or the skin from inside is so healthy. It's really a treat to see them from inside actually. So I always ask my clients, what was your mode of weight loss before I plan a surgery? That matters a lot in terms of their healing pattern also. All these herbal weight loss things and all these unnamed over-the-counter products that they have used, they increase internal aging like hell, at least by 10-15 years.
I think you would have seen a lot of them who come to you that this is the quickest way,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So how do you deal or tackle with them? What
First thing
what is
is
the message that you would give them
Yes.
first?
First thing, they are obsessed with us doing liposuction on the whole body. It doesn't happen that way. See, liposuction, to give you weight loss of at least 10 kgs, you need to remove at least 15 liters or more of fluid from the body. Our body at the max carries 5 to 6 liters of blood at a time and some fluids, that's it. So when there is 15 liters of alteration in a single day in and out, that's a lot of hemodynamic disturbance on the body. There were days when we used to do these kind of massive liposuctions, but now it's really not needed when we have good people in terms of nutrition experts and trainers to actually cause a very balanced weight loss. So we have certain other methods like all these Mounjaro, wherein we can opt for ideal people, and all these things adding up to in a sustained and a well planned way definitely will give weight loss over a certain period, and then refining the results is much easier for the patient and for us also. So first we give them a lot of mental counseling and tell them, either see, depending on their weight, if they're above 120, 130, the best thing is to do bariatric. If they are in the range, mid range, they can go for all these non-invasive procedures and then come to us, and that journey is very safer and the result is long lasting and perfect.
So I think that's what our clinic is also all about, because I mean the name itself is Eternal Aesthetics. So once they see the aesthetics name, I think they want to just step inside and then get completely corrected and then step outside.
Yes.
So once they meet Deepti also, for anything, for maybe just do something and make me. So first I think we will calm down. First we will see their hormonal profile,
Yes.
then correct it via endocrinologist.
Yes.
Or if they have some gynec issue in hormones related, we'll correct it. Then Lakshmi comes into action, where we do complete diet for a long period of time. And once they lose weight and they have stubborn areas of weight, to be specific, like arms or hip or any specific area, I think that's when Deepti can be a game changer.
Yes.
And also, one biggest drawback of massive weight losses in short times with all these diets is losing the charm on the face.
Yes.
The facial fat loss is so rapid that it is not easy to revive back also, even if you put on the weight. So that is something that I would never advise if you're looking into anti-aging. And post 40, this is something that I've seen in all my clients. If you're losing any massive amount of weight, please try to lose it by 35. Stabilize your weight by 35. After that, don't plan for massive weight losses, because it is going to cause very irreversible changes in terms of aging effects on the body, and you can't revive them.
So I think that's all. So many factors are there to consider. It's not just like doing some diet or something.
Yes.
I mean, for intermittent fasting, I have seen people who, one lady has done 23 hours of intermittent fasting. That means she ate only for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So imagine how much nutritional deficiency, how much protein loss, how much of other nutrients loss is there. So I think very important thing is there are a lot of options for obesity or overweight. Like take it nutrition, take it their hormone checks, take it their bariatrics for severe obesity, or take it their injections nowadays what we are seeing.
Yeah.
Or any other oral medication, or finally liposuction. So there are a lot of options, but then going in proper sequence, completing the whole circle, I think that's very important in overall correcting
Yes.
obesity.
So in women, especially going for these extreme dieting patterns, it actually imbalances their hormones more, and they don't realize that, and they just want that, again, that quick method. They don't want to take the pain of going for a sustainable thing. And I expect like in 1 month I have to lose like 5-6 kilos and all of that. So it's not just about that number.
It's not advised
Yes.
also.
Yes,
yeah.
it's not advised also. So
And actually, sudden weight loss also triggers lot of emotional disturbances, and it
Yes.
might trigger some mental conditions.
yes.
So I think that drastic and sudden weight loss is also something not we can advise to our clients.
Yes, yeah. So, like when, so that deficiencies that it creates is the reason why these mood swings and lot of irritability and all causes in the women, especially.
Yeah, and
like that.
and that too, as Deepti said, before 35, because again, especially in women, that too when they'll be hitting their menopause at the age of 50. So that 45 to 50, 55 range is very tricky for them.
Yes.
So in this period, as a normal only, trying to maintain their self is important. On top of this, if they are trying to change their lifestyle drastically, it might affect their mental health very severe.
Very much. Yes.
So yeah, so I think it's finally about when we talk about obesity or getting into treatment or correction of obesity, it's the approach should be in a holistic manner, where we try and not to do any bad or harm to our body, but achieve the results and stay more healthy. Because I think obesity also leads to a lot of other systemic diseases which might lead to them. So correcting obesity is very important, but in the right manner.